Hello everyone, how you going? And welcome back to the place that I guess could be called the antidote to DIY. You know, it is Animalsbeingbros. The place where all the posts just make you smile because they're all just like, oh, come on now, that is just ridiculously cute. So then starting off with, this is what is known as a New Zealand bottle opener. Oh, what is it called? Oh, it's not a kiwi, it's the macaw. No, it's not a macaw. God, I can't remember what it's called, but those birds are crazy in terms of how kind of much they just come over and just kind of want to just grab stuff, and they're just so curious and everything like that. God, what are they called? New Zealand birds, the kakapo? No, it's not the kakapo. No, the kia. There we go. That's what it is. The kia. I can only assume that that's a kia. That looks very much like the other one that we just saw before. And yeah, like I was saying, they were just so inquisitive and kind of just boisterous in a way. You know, when I went over there, I drove up to Milford Sound, and these guys were just everywhere all over the road. They actually just jump on top of the car to try and stop you. I guess they're trying to get you to give them food or something like that. But yeah, they are very, very boisterous. So I'm not surprised that they can just tear the cap off a bottle, because it is certainly a very, very serious speak. I don't know how kind of recommended it is to be at 8:30 in the morning. And it's perhaps a little bit sad that this is even something that they know how to do. But in terms of the video and actually fitting on this sub, it is definitely an Animalsbeingbros in that regard. And even just the guys in the videos going, oh mate, I've just got a job for you, would you mind? And then it's, oh cheers mate. So yeah, I don't know if they've actually just pre-cracked it and then they just kind of shove the bottle cap back on and then they get them to tear it off, because the birds certainly seem to do it very, very easily. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. It doesn't really just pop like a normal one does. But then actually looking at it, that bottle top is very, very flat. So maybe they are just absolutely units and just tear the bottle caps off any beer you give them. Who knows? Either way, it is definitely Animalsbeingbros, I guess, in that department. My cat giving me strength for the last mile. Oh, come on, mate. You got some quarantine exercise. You can get him. Oh, is he trying to give him pats or something? Is that what's going on? I mean, I don't know how well you're going to go in terms of, you know, reaching out your arms, definitely throwing off your stride and your gait in terms of how economical it is. But I guess if you can manage it and it's kind of your goal to reach the cat, then it's all the better for you. You know, the cat definitely seems curious, and at least he actually does reciprocate by holding his hand out in the end. You know, the guy's just holding his hand up for so long, and the cat's kind of putting his head there, and then finally it puts its paw out for him. So yeah, obviously he doesn't say exactly how far he's been running or for how long, but you know, like I said, for the last mile, that means at least you've been running for a mile. And you would generally think that if you're saying the last mile, you're definitely not just halfway. So he's definitely undertaking a decent run. And so like I was saying, that's some good quarantine exercise right there. You know, you see everywhere online that people are just saying that they're getting fatter and fatter in quarantine. But I reckon if everyone had the kind of motivation, and I guess the cat motivation that this guy does, everyone would just be trimming down, you know. If you're doing a 5 mile or even a 5k run every day, you're certainly going to be losing some serious weight if you are a little bit bigger. If you just got to suddenly just lean down, it's the only way will just get sucked from you. And so yeah, you know, I guess people have never needed their pets more than they do now. They obviously are providing some kind of emotional support as well as obviously physical support. So hey, if you've got a pet like a cat or a dog or anything else that you actually do out to use to do this, then why not, you know? Either use your outside time of taking the dogs for a walk and actually take it for a run, or perhaps if you're not allowed to do that, then just kind of use the cat to just to stay inside and run on a treadmill, but just chase after the cat. Either way, any kind of movement's going to be successful, and maybe that's actually what it can be called, like the cat movement or something like that, or even just the pet movement, where everyone is trying to run to their pet to give them a pat, but the twist is that they're actually on a treadmill. And so really, you're not getting very far very fast, and eventually you might get a pat, but hey, you'll certainly cover some serious K's before you do that. He waits all day for his buddy the mailman. Oh, look at that. They obviously have a great relationship. This is just a perfect kind of juxtaposition of what you'd expect it to be. Obviously, there's kind of dogs and posties that are just renowned for being kind of enemies, or at least a dog as the enemy of a postman. But these two, look at that. They're just in love with each other every day, or however often you're getting a mail delivered, he just gets to wait there for him. And God, even though it's a golden retriever and has a fairly thick coat, the fact that it's just kind of waiting all day out in the cold, or maybe it doesn't wait all day, maybe it just waits by the window and then he finally comes around and then he goes, oh, and then I'll finally go outside. But either way, he's just out in the cold waiting for his postie friend. You know, that kind of behavior just really does show you how affectionate the dog is towards the postie. And to be fair, the postie certainly doesn't skip the pats back, you know. He sort of rubs it behind the ears, rubs it on the neck, rubs it on the shoulders, just pats all over, you know. You can see the dog is absolutely loving it. It's just tail wagging, just loving it, just kind of nuzzling in. But I think one of my favorite parts about this entire video is just how tiny that postie van is. I don't think I've ever seen a postie van be that small, you know. Obviously, I don't know if this happens everywhere in the world, but in Australia we have a lot of postie bikes that kind of cruise the street, whether that be kind of scooters or actual cycles. But if it's an actual Australia post van, it's going to be like a full-size Mercedes-Benz Sprinter, where that little thing right there is so tiny, it looks like the guy just emerged from a clown car or something like that. You know, if we pause it, this is obviously kind of the States, you know, look at the size of that pickup truck in the background. And so is in the US usually the place where everything's bigger and better, you know, but obviously that doesn't apply for this kind of postie van. But no, these two are obviously in love, and both people and dogs just love that kind of connection. For the dog to just be waiting for the mailman all day, then he gets pats, and then for the mailman to know that he's going to be able to go to a house and not just get attacked for our dog and just get some pats in as well. You know, just be therapeutic and engaging for both parties. So really, it is pretty cool. And it'd be great if it could happen more, but just people don't just train their dogs to kind of be friendly with strangers, so to say. And so the dog or the animal never gets exposed to anyone out of the household. And so its entire behavior is just then centered around protecting the family because it doesn't know any better. And that's a real shame, because you can see how well these two are getting along, and every single dog in the world could be like that, you know. I reckon all dogs just try to be perfect in terms of just they never want to do anything wrong. As a matter of fact, it's just how they're actually trained about what is wrong or what is right. So yeah, for those families just haven't equipped their dog with any social skills to deal with anything like this, it's a shame. but at least we can certainly see that some people do exist, and then, you know, you can have interactions like this and just be, you know, Posty Man's best friend. The other farm cats didn't super love him, but the chicken saw he was alright, so he became a chicken. What the hell am I looking at? I mean, once again, we certainly have a serious juxtaposition here. Obviously, last time we had the mailman and the dog, but this one is just a whole nother level between cats and birds. You know, I guess that's not a fox, but cats are still known for just wreaking havoc among chickens, but they're certainly not known for just suddenly chicken running it up and just blending in for the rest of the chickens. You know, you can definitely see here that it's trying to be a little bit of a spy and just blend into the brown chook, just waiting and hoping that the other cats just won't see it and go, oh, that's a weird looking chicken, but I guess that's what it is, you know, just so it could finally escape all the other pulley cats on the farm. But no, really, that is very strange. I wonder if it was actually from the chickens department that kind of accepted them in, or if the cat is kind of just forced this way and the chickens went, well, I guess that's what it is, you know, because really, as much as chickens love to kind of flee from danger, I don't know how smart they are in terms of going, hey, hang on, that's a cat, you know. But hey, I guess it's just kind of a life lesson, you know, if you're surrounded by people that just don't like you, or if you're not getting along with, or for whatever reason just aren't gelling with, and even though you often have no control over why that circumstances even evolve into what it has been, at least you have the control to actually just go around and remove yourself from that situation, just like this cat has, you know. Like the title post says, the other cats on the farm didn't really like it, and he went, well, stuff it, I'm just going to hang out with the chickens, they don't seem to mind me too much, they're nice and warm, I can just kind of hang out with them, no worries, they're all just in a group and we're all good. So yeah, I guess that's the other thing this sub kind of can teach you, you know, just life lessons about how to deal with people, just kind of being accepting of people just like the chickens are, or even just removing yourself from a negative situation just like the cat is. This sub is obviously very cute on face value, but if you want to dig it a little bit deeper, you can actually kind of find some cool meanings behind it all. And hey, I guess as the owner, they just kind of went, well, stuff it, you know, if that's what the cat wants to do, and obviously he's not hurting the chickens, he certainly wouldn't have that many chickens left if the cat was going to be hurting the chickens. And then so kind of like a parent to a child, kind of seeming having it with their new friends, you just kind of accept it and move on, don't you? Regardless of how kind of strange it might be. Cool stepmom. What have we got? Oh my goodness. Wait, is that a cat and a dog? What the hell is going on here? I don't think I've ever seen that. We really are getting weirder and weirder in the animal combinations, aren't we? First we had the mailman and the dog, and that was kind of like, whoa, that's a bit strange. And then we had the cats and the chickens and going, hang on a minute. And now we've got a dog nursing some kittens. What the hell is going on here? I mean, I guess the dog doesn't seem to really be minding it, and I guess it's kind of acting as a wet nurse for obviously wherever the other cat mum is, but it still doesn't take away from the fact that it's very, very strange to look at from the beginning. And I mean, I'm not 100% sure, but I feel as though being fairly similar animals, they would kind of get the same kind of nutrients, have the same kind of requirements. So it's probably actually one of the best supplements, you know, better than cow's milk or any other kind of milk. But yeah, I certainly am questioning where the cat's mum is, because I don't know if they're taking shifts, or maybe the dog's just taking all the kind of shifts for the cat. And in typical cat fashion, is just going, yes, so someone else will sort it out for me, you know, no need, I'll just kind of come back when you're done, no worries. Thanks for sorting them out, you know, you're the best, you know, kind of, yeah, I don't really care, but thanks, you know. And then meanwhile, the dog just gets kind of stuck with the cats just all day. And I guess on the flip side of that, just once again, it just shows you how kind of affectionate dogs can be, you know. They really do love anyone and everyone and will do anything that you really ask for them, you know. They can certainly be man's best friend, they can certainly be woman's best friend, and obviously they can be cat's best friend, as strange as that may sound. So yeah, even though we had Kia being man's best friend on the first post, and then all of a sudden it was a cat being man's best friend with a treadmill, things have certainly returned to usual with this post and even the mailman post. But hey, at least this sober just really does cover all bases, doesn't it? Drive-by cuddles. Oh, I don't know how they've got this video, but oh my goodness, that is a seriously like stock cute animal video, isn't it? Just the fact that the dog is just lying there, the slow-mo of the cat just kind of rolling on up to the dog, and then I can only imagine it just purring as it nuzzles its way into the dog's personal space. Not that the dog would care at all, because once again, they just do love everyone and anyone, you know. That is 2 posts in a row that is cats and dogs. But actually, I don't know if I fully agree with this title, because it's not really a drive-by if the cat kind of just parks itself next to the dog. Generally, a drive-by is going to be when you just drive up to something and don't stop when you get there, where this one is virtually the complete opposite of a drive-by, you know, just kind of snuggled on up immediately and just didn't move after that. But no, the video really does highlight how kind of two-faced cats will be. You know, if we don't go back to the beginning here, it almost looks like the dog's about to cover it or something like that, as though the cat's just stalking its prey. Look at that kind of crouch walk, and then all of a sudden, just in a split second, it just changes its entire attitude into a very soft and lovable creature. But no, once again, it really does show you how animals can be so affectionate towards each other when they've just been raised in that kind of environment to accept each other. And that rule really does apply to all animals, including humans. You know, if you're raised in a kind of a good environment, you generally turn out alright, and if you're raised in a bad environment, you definitely aren't given the same kind of leg up of those that aren't. And so if we take these two as a perfect example, they've obviously grown up together or whatever it may be, and so then you get those kind of interactions where all of a sudden they're just kind of being fluffy together, and really it looks like just absolutely loving each other's company. Whenever I see these kind of videos though, I always have the same question, and that is if they can actually just feel how fluffy each other are, you know. Does the two kind of first multiply the fluffies, so it just feels you're suddenly kind of just immersed in the fluffiest beanbag you've ever been in? Or does your fur just kind of cancel out the other fur and so you can't feel it? I just would love to know, because the amount of animals that just love to kind of sneak on up to you and just kind of laze on you or laze on a dog or whatever it may be, it's just ridiculous. So I can only imagine that it must feel good, but I wonder if it's just that little bit better when you are already fluffy yourself. But no, anyway, this has definitely been the cutest thing that I've ever been associated with the word drive-by. You know, usually it's something very, very different. So if we can start associating the word drive-by with this, well, then I think the world's in a good place. Floof pillow. Once again, we've got another floof pillow. You know, the last one I guess was a floof pillow. And then this one is definitely a flip pillow. Dogs really do just have to be one of the comfiest pillows out there, you know. They're warm and they're fluffy and they kind of just have all the curves and just to kind of, you can tuck into them. Just really, once again, everything about them is just proving them to be man's best friend. And this photo is no exception to that rule, you know. Obviously, it's a little bit strange with the dog on the wall. I don't know really what's going on there. I mean, I guess if your goal is to be made a pillow, it is a pretty convenient position to kind of accomplish that. But I certainly don't think I've ever seen a dog be in that position, just kind of legs against the wall, but straight, you know. They often do like to be kind of pressed against something, whether that be a wall or their bed or whatever it may be. Or even they just have their back against the wall or a bed or anything. But I've never seen a dog in that position. That is quite funny, really. And really, the more I look at this photo, the more I'm just realizing that once again, the dog just does not care. You know, often kids can be a little bit annoying to dogs, but if they're just kind of relaxing on the wall, you know, it does not matter. They don't care. You can play with their legs, you can play with their ears, obviously as long as you're not rough with them or anything. But if you're just kind of playing with them gently, they certainly don't seem to wake up and certainly don't seem to mind. And so really all of those things together just allow you to kind of create those perfect shots there, you know, just a perfect kind of, once again, stock cute image with a kid and a dog and a nicely furnished home. It is just a perfect photo, isn't it? And hey, maybe this is actually the first one where the dog could actually be considered a brother, you know. It is obviously in a family location. We've had plenty of other kind of random animal combinations, but this is obviously in a family home. Maybe the dog is just as old as the kid, who knows? I would assume that the dog is a little bit older, but just for the sake of it, we'll say they're the same age and then they're just basically brothers or sisters. And so in that case, this post is just really living up to the Animals Being Bros kind of subreddit mantra, isn't it? Just virtually every single thing that this sub is looking for in one single photo. There. What do we have here? Oh no, God, that is there. No need to cry. Just cry into my shoulder. It's alright. No, it is definitely giving off those kind of vibes. And once again, I'm just asking the question, how floofy does it feel when you're already floofy yourself? You know, doing that kind of thing as humans is very comfy, let alone when you're that kind of fluffy yourself. I reckon we can only ever dream of being this comfy and comforted at the same time, you know? But like, really, that is absolutely true love right there between these two cats, you know? You know, for whatever reason, these two cats are in this position. I didn't even know why they would be in the first place. I certainly have never seen two cats in that kind of position, kind of like the last dog. But hey, for whatever reason, these two cats are in that position, and it's really lovely to see, you know? Once again, just absolutely stock footage. Really, obviously this video proves this statement completely untrue, but it's kind of only something you would ever see in an animated film, perhaps. You know, like the two main characters are being kicked out on the street, they can't find their way home for whatever reason, they're just kind of comforting each other going, there, we'll find our way home eventually, or we'll find food, or whatever it may be. That's the kind of vibes I'm getting from this. Not that you would actually kind of see this out in the wild or in the real life. So yeah, really, I guess once again, this is just a perfect Animals Being Bros kind of post. You know, they could be brothers for all I know, but even if they aren't, they're obviously being very affectionate to each other. And I reckon the only way this video could have been made better is if a dog just suddenly emerged and just comforted them both. And so now finally for the top of the month for Animals Being Bros, we have diabetes training. A dog alerts his human with boops. What, low blood sugar alert training? Well, okay, let's listen what's going on here.
Diabetes training.
No way they can. Yeah, I was going to say they can only sort of smell it.
Stronger than a human's nose.
Yeah.
They can smell the hormone changes.
Wow, that's ridiculous. I wonder if that actually affects how much they love you sometimes, you know? Oh, that makes so much sense how you actually get to train them, you know? You obviously give them an example of what is not good, you know? I don't want to be having low blood sugar, and then obviously you put it, here you go, you get to train them like this. Because obviously diabetes affects a lot of people, and it's incredible how often people just don't really realize what is going on until it's kind of, you know, an emergency situation almost. And then Mummy, you was like, what was that, a juice bottle? Oh, because of the sugars in the juice. Oh, that makes so much sense. He was the juice for you. I don't really get why he's wearing shoes, but the cheese is definitely a winner. I don't know if this is with all dogs, but a lot of dogs seem to love cheese, and obviously this guy does too. But man, once again, it's just an absolute win for dogs in their kind of, you know, Animals Being Bros criteria. They just get 100% on every single test they seem to be faced with, whether that be with mailmen or cats, or now even just detecting low blood sugar. That is almost pretty incredible, and I guess it makes sense in terms of, you know, sniffer dogs and all that kind of stuff. It makes sense. You can see how they can do it, but it is still just incredible to me. The dogs can be trained to kind of be able to sense that stuff and then give that kind of reaction, you know. Hey, what are you doing? You're low. Come on, here you go. Here's your juice. Have a little bit of this, then you'll be right. No worries. And then all you have to pay at the end of that incredible service is just a little bit of cheese, you know. That is a pretty darn good deal if you ask me. And really, like I was saying, it's just incredible that dogs can even kind of sense that kind of stuff. Obviously, we realize that they have incredible kind of senses in terms of their nose and everything. But like I was saying, we've kind of started trying to drug sniffer dogs to then kind of this, but then they're even being trained to kind of detect other things in the body like cancers or something like that. Like, it's pretty incredible what they can even do with their nose. And so yeah, really, even though I'm sure there were plenty of other animals that could probably do the same thing, there was just no one that kind of meets the same criteria of being so loving and affectionate and having the actual ability to do that all in one package. And also, really, just look at that face. There aren't too many other animals that actually just being a dog in terms of actually just being cute as well, is there? But anyway, speaking of, that is going to do it for the top of the month for Animals Being Bros. So thank you for watching. If you did enjoy the video, feel free to do the YouTube analytical things down below, you know. Other than that, you know, we see awesome posts all over Reddit, so make sure you check some of the other videos out, or maybe just even want to consider subscribing so don't miss another one of these in the future. But all, have a good one and see ya. bye.